India have lost the first wicket, first ODI in fact at Kanpur by 5 runs. And let's go across to Nikhil Chopra, former cricketer from India, who's joining me in the studio. Nikhil, very disappointing out there because the way India started, great partnership between Rahane and Rohit Sharma. Rohit playing a brilliant knock of 150. India almost taking it, India almost winning the match, but towards the end, all those wickets, the team must be very disappointed.
Yeah, like you said, very unfortunate. I thought the strategy in terms of planning the chase is pretty good. You know, you take it any day of the week, chasing 300 odd runs, Radhika, you got 8 wickets in hand when Ajinkya Rahane got out. You know, to get to about 113 runs of 17-18 overs, close to about 6 and over with 8 wickets in hand, with the new field restriction ruling coming into play. You take it any day of the week, and especially in the Indian conditions, playing with the 2 hard balls. Just guess that once Mahendra Singh Dhoni, got going or got out, it just it was hard for them to get forced. But the important thing is, I guess, going into the next game, somebody like even an Ajinkya Rahane, with the field restrictions, when you're chasing, you've got to try and make life easier for the next man walking in. If you walk in and the asking run rate's about 6, 6.5, you get to about 50 or 60 odd runs. By the time you get out, that asking run rate should have come down to about 5. That allows the new man walking in some sort of time to be spent on the wicket. If that 5.5, 6 becomes to 8 when you walk in as a new batsman, it gets very difficult because you need to go out there and get the boundaries. And like I keep emphasizing on the point of new field restrictions, only the 4 fielders outside the 30-yard circle, you need to get more boundaries. And it's not that you need to throw the kitchen sink to get the boundaries. They will come at great amount of ease, but as a batsman when to up the ante. You get 25, 30, you got used to the pace and bounce of the wicket. You got to send a message back in the dressing room. Wicket is getting easier to go out there and bat, and the asking run rate, as a batsman out there in the middle, it's your job to bring the asking run rate down. Don't make life miserable for the man who's going to come in and bat the very first ball.
Nikhil, you did speak about the fact that it is the openers who need to set the pace. I mean, Shikhar Dhawan did fail out there, but the partnership between Rahane and Rohit Sharma was brilliant out there. Virat Kohli was demoted, he came two down. Everybody was, was surprised when Rahane came up, but Virat once again failed. So as far as one-day internationals go, Virat has not been able to perform for a pretty long time.
Well, I wouldn't say failed. Anybody getting out, in the first 10, 15 runs, fair enough. Anybody can have a bad game. It's the guys who get to 30s, 40s and 50s who need to go out there and win the game. You look at Rohit Sharma, like you just said, 150 of 130 odd deliveries. Ajinkya Rahane had a good enough outing, batting at number 3, 60 out of 80 deliveries. So the acceleration had to come from Ajinkya Rahane when you're especially chasing. Otherwise, you're making life a lot more difficult for some of the other batsmen to walk in. You're playing 6-7 batsmen, Radhika. Not all 6-7 get runs. But the guys who get runs, it's their responsibility to finish the game. You cannot blame the guys who get out on 5, 10, 7s and 8s. It's the guys who get past 30 to 40. They need to win the game for you.
But it was a situation from where India could have comfortably won, of course. The last few wickets, Suresh Raina failing out there. Dhoni, of course, trying, with those doubles that he was taking. Of course, the fact that we probably missed a few boundaries, had we gotten a boundary towards the end, 6, that would have made life easier.
Boundaries would make all the difference, especially when you're chasing 30 odd of the last 3. You need those boundaries to come in handy. That puts the pressure back onto the bowler. If you're only going for doubles and singles, 5, 6 and over, the pressure is always on the batsman. Then, he's trying to hit the ball too hard, the eyes are moving away from the contact point. It gets more and more difficult. That's where South Africa won the game. In the last 6, when India was bowling, they got 86 odd runs. And you look at Team India, we couldn't get that sort of target going because we didn't have a set batsman in the last 7-8 overs. Rohit Sharma getting out at that 150 to Imran Tahir, I think that was the biggest point where South Africa started putting their foot back into the door.
But India sort of did have their chances as well. Luck seemed to be on their favour. That run-out chance, in fact, Nikhil, I mean, had South Africa lost the match, they would have said that run-out chance probably cost them the match.
Absolutely. And there were plenty of opportunities as well. I've never seen South Africa feel the way they have. Even in the outfield, you could clearly make out they were feeling the heat. They were feeling the pressure. There were batsmen who were converting 1s into 2s and misfields from the South African side, and they set very high standards in terms of fielding. So they certainly were under a lot of pressure. But I guess one of those days, Team India fought hard. You could probably say that they had a good enough chase that boundaries towards the end. And I think once again, we've always said this, each time Team India is playing in the shorter version of the game, the depth overs. The last 10, the last 8 overs, it is very difficult when you concede about 100 odd runs or 80 odd in 6. To come back into the game, it gets very, very difficult, Radhika. And of course, Ashwin not been able to bowl his full quota of overs because of an injury. That would make all the difference as well. But very quickly, this is a series, your very first game. South Africa has got the momentum after winning the T20, the first ODI as well. We need to pull up our socks in the last 10 overs. The depth overs, if we can do that, Team India will be in a much, much better position come the second game.
Of course, Nikhil, I was going to point that fact out, that you feel the Indian bowlers would say that we gave away those 30-40 odd runs extra. Had South Africa been restricted to probably less than 280, India would have, of course, chased down that target. So AB de Villiers going, really hammer and tongs towards the end is what ultimately ended up costing India the match.
See, that's the difference. When you talk about good players in international cricket, once they walk out to bat, you need to try and put them under a lot of pressure at that moment in time to try and get them out, get their wickets straight away. They get 25, 30 odd runs, Radhika, it's going to be game over. That's the quality of AB de Villiers, or for that matter, any other batsman. You'll allow Virat Kohli to get 30, 35, he'll get you a big 100. AB de Villiers will do that. So important thing is, whoever gets those 30, 35, he has to try and win the game. And in terms of bowling, always look to attack the batsmen who you feel are going to be match winners. You need to get your best bowlers against them. It's unfortunate that Ashwin couldn't bowl to AB de Villiers. He was held back. That one error of judgment or his injury allowed AB de Villiers to go out there, get set, and then once he gets set, once he gets used to the pace and bounce of the wickets, he's far too good a player to try and control towards the end of the innings.
Nikhil, you've mentioned Ashwin, and in fact it seems that the extent of his injury is not very clear, and that is why the BCCI has in fact called Harbhajan to the squad, who will be joining the team in Indore. If Ashwin is actually sidelined for the series, how big a loss will it be for Team India?
Well, the way he's been bowling, he's been spot on. He's been Mahendra Singh Dhoni's go-to man. Each time there's a partnership brewing, he throws the ball to Ashwin, and he's responded outstandingly well. You look at the T20s, you look at the test matches in Sri Lanka, whatever format, he's been able to go out there and pick up wickets. But it's unfortunate that he's out because of an injury. But Harbhajan Singh, I think with the kind of experience and the kind of quality that he possesses as well, it's his opportunity to go out there and grab. And I feel bowling in Indian conditions, I think Bhaji can go out there and do an equally good enough job.
You think the spinners are of course going to play a very crucial role? Amit Mishra we saw bowled brilliantly today. Ashwin, like you said, the first quota that he was doing, he picked up that wicket, and with Harbhajan Singh coming into the side, they are going to be the key for India going ahead in the series.
Without a doubt. If you remember Mahendra Singh Dhoni saying that he doesn't want too much grass on those one-day wickets, that's a message clearly sent across. He probably wants about 32, 34 overs of spin being bowled each time India go out there and bowl. So you've got two quality spinners, then you'll have Stuart Binney come and bowl, roll his arm over a bit. Suresh Raina will bowl. I won't be surprised to see even Rohit Sharma probably come and roll his arm over. So you're looking at about 32, 34 overs of spin. You're looking at about only 16 overs of medium pace. And I'm sure South Africans would be looking to target those 16 odd overs. First, say 7-8 overs of the new ball, and towards the depth as well. So the quality where Team India has to come in and try and pick up wickets would be the quality of Harbhajan Singh and Amit Mishra. Those 20 overs of frontline spin, they need to try and pick up wickets. If one of these guys don't pick up wickets, your fifth bowler, who is going to be a part-time bowler, is going to suffer and get the heat.
Nikhil, this match obviously ended up being a delight for fans. It went right down to the wire. And
that's what you want in one-day cricket.
And two very brilliant innings, AB de Villiers from South Africa, Rohit Sharma from India. They sort of started off similarly, building up the innings, playing slowly initially. Looking at the two innings, how would you compare them, and who did you, according to you, should be the player of the match?
Well, without a doubt, I won't be surprised if they give it to AB de Villiers, because he came into bat at a tough situation. And he got those 80 odd in the last 6 to get them to 303. Had Rohit Sharma been there right through the end and Team India had won the game, without a doubt, Rohit Sharma would have been your player of the match. But in my eyes, the kind of batting AB de Villiers went out there strategically, spent some time out there in the middle when things were difficult against the spinners, the ball was turning. He was patient, he was looking to just push the ball in the gaps, get used to the pace and bounce. And once the part-timers came in, that's when he started going for the boundaries, and towards the end of the innings, he gets very disruptive. So to me, AB de Villiers is going to be the player of the match.
Looking ahead at the series, Nikhil Dhoni obviously made the change of bringing Rahane up the order. He said that he wouldn't mind Rahane opening the innings as well. You said that Rahane played a little slowly and that made things difficult. Where would you want Rahane to bat, and were you happy with the decision that Dhoni?
He's got to be batting at number 3. It'll be tough for him to go out there and open the innings because Rohit's got 150. It'd be unfair on him to send him in the middle order. Primarily for Mumbai as well in the first class cricket, he plays in the middle order. But I think Rohit's been absolutely exceptional up the order. Shikhar's been doing a reasonable job. Rahane's got to be batting at number 3. But he's got to realize once he gets on the other side of 35-40, he needs to try and push for the boundaries, especially when you're chasing. It's a different case and scenario in terms of strategy point of view, that you've got to be holding on one end and push the ball in the gaps and make sure whoever's striking the ball, give him as much strike as possible. But once you have that solid enough partnership, Radhika, I think it's about 140 odd, 150 odd run partnership, you need to hold your own end as well. Then you need to try and push the ball, for boundaries as well, especially when you're chasing. And I think that's the mistake maybe Rahane had tonight. He's a fantastic player. I don't think he's going to repeat the same sort of mistake. But for me, if he's got to be batting, he's got to be batting up the order, batting number 3.
Nikhil, you did say before the match that Imran Tahir is going to be crucial. That over, he picked up 2 wickets, and that seemed to have changed the complexion of the match.
That last over of his, I think when he got rid of Rohit Sharma, cotton bowled, and then of course Suresh Raina. Imran Tahir is that kind of bowler. He can come back and get the South Africans back into the game any stage. And because you're playing on a slowish track, the wrist spinner, if the ball holds up slightly, he's always, a threatening factor to go out there and pick up a wicket. And to pick up a wicket of a set batsman on a track that is going to be enabling the spinners, all the more reason I said he is going to be the threat. It's the quicker bowlers I felt got a little too predictable. Dale Steyn, Morning Mokul, Rabada had a good enough last over. But to me, in the middle, the threat is always going to be Imran Tahir.
Nikhil, if we see, of course, Rohit's inning was brilliant today, but going ahead, like you said, South Africa, of course, are carrying the momentum. They've won the T20 series, they've won the first one-day. What is it that India take going into the next one-day international? Rohit, of course, is great in form, but, the bowlers leaked runs in the last few overs. The other batsmen were not able to contribute. What is it that India takes back?
I think most importantly, they'll have to get back to the drawing board, take one step at a time. I think the most important, the depth overs. You cannot be conceding 80 or 86 runs in the last 6 overs and looking to win a game. It gets very, very difficult. You're putting too much pressure on your batsmen. Not every day that you will be able to chase that kind of total. And then when it comes to batting, when you were in the hunt, I thought, everything was going according to plan, but somebody needed to shift gears in that partnership like Rohit was doing. Ajinkya had to go out there and then look to, get some runs as well, probably because he was batting the way he was, and I think that's a mistake that Team India did. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, I guess it's unfortunate that being there, not being able to finish. So back on the drawing board, most importantly, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is going to try and find a way to look at his depth overs. Who's going to concede less number of runs for him? Who's going to be his go-to man, bowling the depth overs, and probably look to pick up wickets? Because if you keep leaking about 100 odd runs, Radhika, in the last 10, it'll get very, very difficult. It gets very difficult for you to come back into the game.
Also, Nikhil, this was the only day match, in fact, in the series. We shift to day-night from the next match in Indore. That going to play in the minds of the captains when they're deciding the teams?
Well, it's going to be a different strategy. You reach the night before, you're going to be probably trying to see what time the dew hits the ground. If India are going to be playing the 3 spinners, then they'll be looking to chase, because you'd want your spinners to be bowling with a drier ball. In the evening, once the dew sets in, life gets easier for the batsman as well. So it's going to be a completely different new strategy.
And going ahead, South Africa, of course, have the momentum. AB de Villiers among the runs, Du Plessis among the runs, but their bowlers need to pull up their socks. The pacers really didn't perform well today.
Well, when you're playing in the subcontinent, especially in India, life for the batsmen is much, much easier. I'm sure the South Africans must have come in, spoken to the bowlers. Things are going to get much difficult, and come the day and night, like you just said, under dew, under the lights, is always going to be more in favor of the batsmen. So it'll be much more difficult. But I guess airspeed is airspeed. They've got some pace, and I think Rabada in the last over surprised Stuart Binney as well as Mahendra Singh Dhoni with that kind of pace. So we'll have to pull up our socks as